Hi, I'm George Pearson, and these are just a few examples from some of the training videos I have here on YouTube. Now, when you're working with the training, following along the training, if you want to get the materials I used in the training, just go to the description down below and click on the link that's at the top of the description, and this will take you to a page where you can download the materials. Please subscribe, click the like button, and of course always share on Facebook, Twitter, or wherever. I really appreciate that. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the video. This is part 2 of a 2-part project. In part 1, we created this intricate interlinking rings pattern, which we'll then be using in this video to create a background for this picture. So we'll be putting in our pattern that we did in part 1, and you can find the link for that video in the description. We'll take the pattern, fill in the background here, and then bring in our person in here for the foreground. Okay, let's go ahead and just get this out of the way and then start building this project. So let's do a new file and blank file. Now I'm doubling up my size here, so this would be a 12 by 8. So it's a larger picture, which means my rings will be smaller in the image. And there we go, there's the basic picture size. We can now fill this with our ring pattern. Again, new file, new layer. And we have our ring pattern already in there. Click on that. That fills it back with our ring pattern. So there we go. We've used the ring pattern on this picture. I'm now going to hide that. Let's bring in our image of our man. So File, and I have this already up here. And it's that one right there. Now the link for this is on the materials page, the video support page. Let's grab the background, drag that in on my picture. Okay, it's a bit small, so I'll grab this and just make them a nice size in here. Kind of like that. Looks pretty good. Just a nice visual size on that. Now, notice that the pole over here is cut off and his turban is cut off. I want to fix both of those little things. So I want to extend the pole. I want to extend his turban. So I'll take care of those quickly. Turban is easy. I'm just going to come in here and using the Polygonal Lasso tool, I'm going to draw in a little more shape up here for the top of the turban. Nothing dramatic, just kind of come in like that and just follow the lines. And then around like this. And then we'll come back and double click to close that off. And using the clone stamp tool, I'm just going to copy a bit of this and stick it up in here. So Alt and click, and then clone stamp that in. Do that a couple of times. And then I'll grab in some of this light stuff here and put that across the top. So some real fast clone stamp, nothing dramatic on this one. A little bit of a crease right there. It looks pretty good. Okay, I think that is all right. And let's deselect. Let's now go over here. I want to extend the pole upwards. Same thing, I'm just going to use the clone stamp tool. I'll come down right here. Click right in the left side like that. Put up and just align that carefully, and then I'll paint that pole up. There we go. Need to go a little bit higher. And same thing. I'm just going to come down here and align again right on the edge. And Alt click and align that here and just paint that in. Okay, so the pole's extended and the hat's extended, but a little bit of a additional out there. That works. Let's zoom out. I take more time, of course, on this if this can be a finished piece. But for this demonstration, this is good enough. Let's now cut this guy out of the background. And let's stretch the window a bit so I can see the whole image in here. There we go. And then I'll just draw right around the image. Just stay reasonably close, but not right up against the edge. Just going to come around here, just go across the bottom and then up around the right side here, kind of like that, and then up over the top and down and in around here, and then we'll finish it up right around this side. Okay, there we go. I'm now going to be using the Refine Edge tool. We can just zoom up a little bit, you can see that. Refine Edge, and I'll come in and refine the edge of this. Now you may need to use a few different tools when you're working. That's fine. Do the Refine Edge. Here we go. And if I zoom in, here's a little zoom control. Let's zoom in on this. And with the Refine Edge tool, using the Refine Radius tool here, so you get this little kind of bullseye thing. Now if I increase my size, which is down here for some reason and not up in here, but whatever, you want to put the plus sign in the part you want to add into your mask, but then overlap the circle over what you want to keep. So let's begin painting along this edge, just kind of paint in here, and then Photoshop Elements goes back and thinks about that and does Refine Edge. Now I'm just moving it with the wheel on my mouse right now. Now the same thing up along the edge here, and scroll up, get this out of the way a bit. Now go over the top like that, and let it figure that one out. It's pretty easy. Now if it messes up like this, we'll fix that in a minute. So I'll do this as a first pass, then I'll go back and we'll clean it up. Now let's keep on going clear around the sides here. You also can hold the space bar down and move it and let go, which gets you back to the tool again. And just allowing Photoshop Elements to do most of the work for me here, so it makes it very, very fast. And just following along the edge. Here we go, space bar, and move over, and let's go ahead and get it along this thing. And then the wheel mouse. And go up to the top of this. And here we go. And I'll go on the other side. And then using the wheel on the mouse again, and down this side. So you can see it comes in and it does most of the work for us very quickly. Saves a lot of time this way, and a lot of real difficult masking. But it will take a little bit of touch-up. That's always the case. That's okay. I don't mind doing a little bit of touch-up on the mask when we're finished. There we go. Okay, that's the very bottom right there. Okay, at this point, we either can take this and make a new layer out of this, or you can make just a selection to it, or a layer with layer mask. I'm just going to make a selection. Choose OK. And I can then look at my selection and see if I want to adjust my selection at all. Now I'm a little bit off on this piece up here. I'm going to leave that alone. I'll do a little touch up on that in just a bit. So our selection is off up here. I'm going to change over here to the Polygonal Lasso tool, and I'll go to Subtract. And I'll just come in here and just go right along the edge of the turban like this, and we'll then cut off that little bit of the selection at the top there that's gone out too far. There we go, and it's out around the sides, and then double click to finish it off, and that removes that bit. Let's see how we're doing on this left hand side. That all looks good. Okay, we're off a little bit right there. Again, Polygonal Lasso tool, I'm going to click in here and then just kind of follow down along the edge of the back of his vest here and take it clear down and around. Now if I get to the bottom, it's going to automatically scroll for me. You can see it the vest kind of curves around here and comes in right there. I'm a little bit off at that one spot. I'll fix that in just a second. Notice if you go up into the rulers, it automatically scrolls for you. Come back to about my beginning, double click, Solves that. And a little bit right there. I want to add that into my selection, so I'll click over here on the add. And let's just do just a little selection right along there and get that one little piece. And there we are. Okay, we have our selection. And Alt and zoom out. Now with the selection, let's go ahead and convert this into a layer mask. Click on the layer mask button. That gives you a layer mask. We now can see where it's kind of messed up in there, where it was a bit thin. That's caused by the refined edge. It tries to put in a transparency if it can't quite get to the edge. So you need to fill in and darken up those areas. That's on the mask side. Notice on the mask, the stuff we're seeing is in white, the stuff we're not seeing is in black. So I want to come in here with a black paint and just paint over this on the mask. Make sure you have that blue outline. Double click if you don't. Make sure you're on the mask. Okay, paintbrush. Check our size. That's quite a bit too big. That's pretty good. It's pretty small. And black paint. I'm just going to freehand this. And I'll just come in here and just kind of a little freehand stuff around here and clean that up. Now I take more time at this if this were a professional job. I'd take the time to be real perfect on this selection. Whenever you're working with selections, that's going to be the most difficult part of the whole process. For this demo, I'll just keep this fast and I won't get too crazy in here. Just kind of cut that back in a little bit. At this point, I'll pause the video and finish the cleanup off camera and then bring the video back up again once that's finished. So you need to sit here and watch me doing this for 15 minutes. Okay, so I'll pause the video and then we'll be right back when that's taken care of. And there we go. That's all nice and cleaned up. We can bring our rings back in again. Okay, let's now make it a little more interesting. I'm going to put a new layer here underneath the background. And let's do a blue gradient on this layer. So click on the foreground color. And I'll set this foreground color to kind of a medium blue. And the one I have here, the one I used in my sample was 074 BA3. There we go, 074 BA3. Let's see. Foreground, and then background color is a darker blue. And that one was 041840. Here, 041840. Just a dark blue. Kind of, middle light, middle dark, over towards the full saturation side. Choose OK. There we go. Let's just put a gradient to straight across. Grab the gradient tool, click out on the left hand side and pull straight across to the right hand side. And that gives us a nice little gradient going on back there. Now I want to blend the rings into that background pattern. So we're going to be using a blending mode on the rings. So go up here and come down to soft light. Right there, it just blends that pattern into that background color. There we go, it looks real nice. Now I want to do a bit of work on the guy here, make him a little bit more interesting. And I can probably fix the turban now that I have a dark background. I can see it's a little bit off on the turban up there. A little bit of transparency. That's going to be on the layer mask, and need to paint white up along here. So let's reverse our colors to white. Paintbrush, and let's choose a hard edge 19. Yeah, 36, that's pretty good. Now let's come right along the edge here and just get that edge fully opaque. Make sure our brush is fully opaque. There we go. That's better. So one of the nice things about using a layer mask is that you can always go back and make adjustments. So you're never stuck with anything. Okay, that's fixed. Now, zoom back out again. So the top of his turban looks fine. Let's now make it a little more interesting in here. I want to come in and first clean up the quality a bit. Go back over here, double click on the image side, and let's do enhance and adjust lighting shadows and highlights. Just want to bring the shadows up just a bit, maybe about 7%. So there's before, and there it is after. Just a little bit more light in the shadow side there. So he's looking better. Now I want to put in some interesting coloration on him, and we'll do that pretty simply. And we'll do that with a gradient in front of him. So I'll do a new layer up here, put a gradient on top, and let's do new colors again. Foreground, let's set the foreground to a blue, and I'll use a different color here, 0D76F9, right there, just kind of a light blue foreground color. And then background color, be doing an orange for the background color. The one I used was E2971F. There we go. Just kind of a nice burnt orange in there, so blue and orange. And I got a gradient left to right. Click our gradient, pull it right across like that. Left to right gradient. I want to limit the gradient to the person, so come over here to the layer mask, hold the Alt key down and drag that up. That copies the layer mask over so that the gradient now just matches the person exactly. And now I want to blend this into the image itself. So up here, and we're going to be doing an overlay. Blends that in. Then you can bring down the opacity a little bit so it's not quite as bright. Maybe somewhere here 67% or so. So there's that gradient. Now without the gradient, it's like that. With it, it kind of gives me that warm to cool shifts. It's cooler on this side, warmer on this side. Makes it a bit more interesting in there. Okay, last thing to do, let's just give him a bit of a drop shadow in behind him there. Click back on the image again, and then layer style settings, drop shadow, and let's just bring our size up and our distance out. Now he's a pretty big image, so you can see there's the drop shadow in behind. Kind of hard to see that. Let me adjust my angle in here. And so I'm kind of putting it so it's upper right hand corner up here, so the light's coming down from this side, like it matches the person. There's our drop shadow in there. Okay, now I can adjust the distance so it comes out about 150 or so in there, and then we'll soften that up. So the size softens things up. You can see right there. So size is softer and distance is the distance, and then the opacity, I'll leave it at 35%. Just a bit of a drop shadow in there and choose OK. And there we go. Let's just drag them off, and we'll enlarge that so you can see them better. There we go. So interesting looking guy. We've done a little bit on him, lighting and so forth, but the important part of this discussion was that pattern we have in the background. You saw how much work it took to make that thing, but it makes a very complex, very tricky looking pattern, and it kind of matches this kind of a chainmail thing. But there you go. That's how to make a repeating interlocking pattern and then use it as a background in a photograph. Thank you for watching this special Photoshop photography project video. Don't forget to subscribe so that you will get first notice of new project videos in the future. Just click on this link right here where it says subscribe here. You can get all 12 project videos in this series along with 26 special videos demonstrating the tools and techniques that I used in these projects by clicking on this link right down here. And then thank you again for watching this training video.